Hi everyone there. Good morning and welcome to day two of Las Vegas Remedy User Group 2021. My name is Rahul Vedak and I'm product manager at BMC Software. I'm joined today with Abhijeet Teli, who is technical expert on reporting and analytics at BMC. Today's topic is BMC Helix dashboards. BMC introduced BMC Helix dashboard solution last year in 2020, and back then it was focused on operations management product. Subsequently, earlier this year, Helix Dashboard 21.02 version added data source plugin for service management solution. So that enabled integration of Helix Dashboard with ITSM, Smart IT, digital workplace, business workflows, virtual agent or chatbot, custom AR application, custom innovation suite application. This is our agenda for the session. We will have some time for Q&A at the end as well. As I mentioned, in 21.02 release of BMC Helix, we announced availability of BMC Helix dashboard for ITSM. Essentially, Helix dashboard added a plugin for connecting to Converge platform, and that enabled all applications built using Converge AR and Innovation Suite platform to analyze and visualize data with BMC Helix dashboard. Simply put, BMC Helix Dashboard is a new interactive visualization and analytics web application that's available as part of the Helix offering for SaaS and on-premise both. It allows users to create dashboard and analyze incident changes, problem record, knowledge data for ITSM, or case data for business workflow, or chatbot conversations, or catalog and request data for DWP. So ability to analyze uh, different kind of data with multiple visualization option. BMC Helix dashboard is built on top of Grafana technology. Grafana is an open source platform and has a pretty vibrant community of active users and developers. And the same dashboard solution is also integrated with Helix operations management, capacity optimization, remediate cloud security, automation console for last couple of releases. So having talked about Grafana, let's go ahead and see the product in action now. BMC Helix dashboard is available from Helix portal as one of the tile here. And once we click here, it will launch in a separate browser tab. Alternately, even from Smart IT 21.3 release, there is a direct launch point from Smart IT interface to Helix dashboard, or say innovation suite application like business workflow, to get to Helix dashboards here. This is the home page where you will see some of the links for documentation, videos, communities, as well as some relevant videos here. And what you see here is a number of dashboards. So this is like a place where it provides shortcuts. So any dashboard which are marked as start, they will appear here, or some of the dashboard that you recently visited will be available here. You can actually navigate to this manage place to look at the complete list of dashboard. So let me get started with this one dashboard, DWP request overview dashboard. This dashboard is a typical dashboard where you'll find that there are these rectangles, and each of these rectangle is called as panel, and this is independent visualization that you have. And for example, if I look at this daily submission trend, I will also see some sub menus. So for example, when I hit this view option, it will show me this same trend chart on a larger canvas. If I look at the other option like edit, this is where actually edit menu is where I build this panel. So when we go in the edit mode, you'll see that there are three distinct parts on the screen. One is the visualization that you have. The second is the query part, which will bring the data, and then some additional configurations here, right? So for example, you're looking at this trend chart, which is part of this list here, right? So you can see different chart types which are available as part of Helix dashboard. And then for each chart type, there are additional configurations available. So for example, when I'm looking at this trend chart, I can decide what is going to be the thickness of the line which is shown here, and I can change those things. And there are a lot of other configurations available here. The same menu also has one option for shared. So this is where I can look at this specific panel and take a PDF copy of it. So I can download it and view that PDF. So you can see this, there's a PDF available for the same trend chart. Or the same menu of share that we saw here is also available for this entire dashboard from here. So I can do a share a dashboard. So instead of a panel, I'm now looking at complete dashboard sharing. And here I get an additional option, which is for XLS. So I can get this all the data and visualization in a Excel format. I'll just show the PDF option. PDF has this grid and simple, and then the orientation here. So I'll go with a grid and landscape mode. And this is what I get here. So those are options for sharing dashboard. As you can see, this dashboard is also having some of the filter condition. For this entire dashboard, we have a few out of the box filter condition we have provided for company, organization, department, region, and based on the selection, it will show you the data. Other common filter condition is the time interval, or for which time range you want to look at the data. That's available here, and I've selected it for last year, but you can see that there are multiple time range available here. You can pick any of these, or you can have absolute time range that you can define here. Uh, so that will be what data to show. How frequently that should get refreshed is controlled by this UI interaction here. So we typically leave it off, but you can decide to have this entire dashboard should get refreshed every 5 minutes, 15 minutes if you're showing it on a knock screen here, right? So those are some of the common interactions that you have with any dashboard. If you make any changes, you can go ahead and save that dashboard from this menu, saving the dashboard, and that's where you'll also see few additional configurations like use of variable. These are the variables or the filter we are using for that entire dashboard. So these get passed to each of the panel on that dashboard. Now this dashboard looks good to me. I want to make some changes and make this as a personalized dashboard. So I can go to this dashboard setting and make my own copy here. So it will quickly just make a replica of this dashboard. So that's one way to create a dashboard. The other way is you can also create a JSON. So for example, if you're moving a dashboard definition from dev to QA to prod, you could take a JSON of this and save that file, and you can go to the target system. You can say that, hey, create a new dashboard. I can import the JSON file, and it will just create a replica of what we just saw, right? So that's another way. And the third way is obviously I can create a dashboard from scratch. We just looked at one dashboard, but there are quite a few dashboard out of the box dashboard we have available here. So for example, if you pick ITSM, you'll see a number of dashboard which are available out of the box in the system, and you can use as is, or you can create a copy. Also, we have for digital workplace, we have quite a few for business workflow, and then for AISM, ITSM Insight. So quite a few dashboard just for the service management solution itself here. We saw some of the key capabilities of Helix dashboard in action. Let's talk about some of the advantages with Helix dashboards. This is a centralized common reporting and dashboard platform for all BMC solutions that are part of a BMC Helix Autonomous Digital Enterprise or ADE platform. ITSM, business workflow, DWP, operations management, capacity, all use dashboard platforms. So that enables customers to have a single dashboard that brings in data from multiple solutions or multiple data sources. So this is an example of a service dashboard which is available out of the box that is intended to show all the metrics for a technical service, or a dashboard that provides a 360-degree view of a selected service. It starts with operation management metrics on the top about service availability from monitoring solution, followed by analysis of number of events for a service. It also shows the time series chart where you can correlate events for this service with any incident or changes for the service. helping users to correlate any changes that cause these events. And the same dashboard also shows information about incident, SLA performance changes, and service requests for the service. So that's a advantage of using common dashboard platform across multiple solutions. Next, as I mentioned earlier, Grafana is a known technology with IT teams today. Technology itself is built around cloud native architecture and has proven record for high volume of data and real-time visualization of large data volume. Since Helix Dashboard is part of common Helix platform, user management, user authentication, tenant management, SSO, all are given. You don't need to spend extra time on managing this task in dashboard application exclusively. Again, Helix Dashboard leveraging Grafana data source. There are different data source plugin available to connect with other data source to get additional data in real time. And another advantage of using the open source platform here is it allows BMC to extend it. For example, we added data source plugin to connect with various BMC Helix solution. A similar way, we added charts like in a cross-tab plugin or combination chart that were not originally part of Grafana but are frequently used by our customers. So BMC quickly added those different chart type as well. And finally, Helix Dashboard will be available to customers without any additional licensing implication or simply no additional cost. So your existing investment in Helix solution will entitle you to license user to use Helix Dashboard. This slide simply describes various data sources for Helix solution integrated with Helix dashboard and what kind of query language is supported for respective data source plugin. Here, service management plugin that we demoed today supports SQL query language with ARJDBC syntax, and needless to say that it allows adding custom dashboard, custom panels. Now, having introduced you to Helix dashboard, let's have Abhijeet build some more sample reports as part of the next demo. Abhijeet, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Rahul. Hello, everyone. My name is Abhijeet Teli. I'm part of the reporting development team, and I'll be covering the new dashboard creation process. So, in order to create a new dashboard in left side navigation panel, we have this plus icon where we can create a new dashboard. So, let me click on that. And once we click on that, you will get to see the new dashboard creation process here. The by default one panel gets added. Now, let me click on this add new empty panel. And once we click on that, as you can see, there are two sections available here. The top section is basically preview section where whatever query we are writing, it will just preview that part of query, the actual data. And in the bottom section, we have this query builder where we can build our query or we can define what are the fields required to create the report. And you can see in the data source section, we have this BMC Helix as a data source created by BMC to support all the BMC Helix suite of products. And in this use case or in this demo, we are going to see how we can create queries for service management or ITSM. So in the query type dropdown, you can see there are multiple query types options available. We can select service management for this use case. So once I select the service management, what it does is it will load the query panel or query builder for the service management type of queries. Now here we have two types of query builder or user interface available. One is a form, or we call it as something called as a query builder, and the second one is a SQL, which is a like freehand SQL editor. So let's cover the form first. Now let's say if I have a use case where I want to create a dashboard which will show me the total number of open incidents, uh, and I can also aggregate that so that it will show me the actual number of incidents, and we can also create some charts on top of it. So let's create that. So here what we have is in this section, this is a type ahead support kind of a builder or UI where whenever we click on any of these elements, it will just pull the required metadata from underlying platform. And there are a bunch of other options that are also available, which we'll going to cover in next couple of minutes. So let's say for our use case, what we need to create a report or the table which will show me the number of open incidents for a specific assigned support group and assignee. So for that, I need to select a form where the incident data is getting stored. So if I click on this form symbol and if I select this select form name, uh, what it does is it will just pull list of available forms in the underlying platform. Now I know that the incident gets stored in HPD helpdesk form, so let me select that HPD helpdesk as a form here. And the moment I select this HPD helpdesk form here, all the columns corresponding to that HPD helpdesk form will get listed here. So let me select assigned group first, and then I can add new column. It's in the right section where we can add multiple columns. I can add a new column for assignee. Now I'm not able to see data in here because by default Grafana selects a time series as a data panel. So I can just simply select table view here, or we can also have this another option where we can select for the visualization type and I can select table as well. So this is my data right now at this point. Now I need the actual number, right? So what I can do, I can add another field called as incident number. So I can get to see the incident as well, but we haven't added any qualification as of now. So here we can see that we can add a where clause, which is like nothing but report qualification. And we also have another options like we can add a group by, having, and order by, and whatnot. So these options are also available here. So let me just go ahead and apply aggregation on top of it, because I don't want to see the actual incident number, but I need to see the count of incidents. So in that case, what I can simply do is in these columns, I have this plus icon where I can click and I can see there are commonly used functions are predefined here already available. So I can simply go ahead and click on count. Okay. Now once I click on count, the query will get changed, but since this is aggregation function, I need to add the group by, right? So let me go ahead and uncheck this symbol here. It will toggle, basically it will enable that group by section, and I can add assign to group and assign in the list. And once I refresh my report, I can see that C1, basically these are the aliases by default gets created through the query builder. I can change it at any point of time. So let's say if I change the alias for C1 to assign group and so on. Okay, so I have this report ready where I can see the CS support 2 and Duquang has 3 incidents assigned. But as we said, we also need to see only open incidents. So in that case, what I can do, I can add a where clause. So similar process, I can just simply go ahead and select, uncheck this box, and I can select a column. So let's say if I say status less than resolved. Okay, now I have the query where I am saying that give me all the number of incidents with assigned group and assignee which are in open state. And this is the very condition I have applied here. And this is how we can do the query builder part, where we can write down these simple use cases with some aggregation and some basic functions, and a couple of other options like group by, where clause, and having section and order by. Now, just to cover this calculated field part, this is newly added in recent releases. So what it does is it has the capability to add the predefined functions which are most commonly used across all the modules, and these are predefined and the underlying query is already written there. So for example, I have added this HPT holders as a form here, which means it is an incident module. So in that case, what it does is it will fetch all the predefined functions or predefined KPIs or predefined metrics which are already there as a part of this release. Those will get listed automatically. So if I just uncheck this box and if I select on this select calculated field, so these are number of predefined metrics available. All customer needs to do is just select any of the metric that they need, and once that is done, it will get automatically added in the query. So let me just show you a real quick example here. So if I say this show query as option as a toggle button enabled, so this is my current query in the bottom section where I can see these are the two fields, and this is my number of incidents as a field, which is like aggregation, and then where clause and other stuff. So let's say if I select uh, mttr, so this is my mttr at this point, and you can see the formula for the mttr has been added uh, automatically because it's predefined. It's a standard ITIL KPI. So we have added those most commonly used KPIs, and it will get added right away. So this is for the query builder where we have added a couple of enhancements, the type height support and other stuff. Now let's quickly cover the other section as well, where we can write down the query freehand, and we can define any formula, or basically that SQL builder, or basically freehand SQL builder, is actually meant for couple of complex use cases. So let's take a quick example. Let's call it as incident transfer analysis or incident reassignment analysis. Okay. So we can write all the queries right away here. For example, select SPD help desk dot incident number from help desk, and if I just run this query, it will just pull me all the incident numbers here. So only requirement here is this is a JDBC syntax, so it's case sensitive in nature, and user needs to know the underlying form name in its own case format, and then underlying field names. So that's how it works, and it will just pull the data as required. Now I just created one simple. So let me just put a simple query here. So this is my query. I just added like incident number, assignee, and total transfers. So total transfer is nothing but how many time the specific incident has been moved from one group to another group, or one assignee to another assignee. That's a total transfer. So we will just take a look how we can collate that information, and we can see the meaningful data. So right now it is just showing me that this specific incident has been added, and it has been transferred once. So what I need, I don't need the incidents which are not transferred at all, right? So let me just add the simple where clause. The total transfer should be greater than 1. So this will give me the incidents which are transferred at least once in its overall life cycle. So I can see in my environment right now, I have these 3 incidents which are transferred at least once in its own overall life cycle. So let's say so this is a number, right? This has been transferred twice, this has been 4 times. So I just want to see uh, from which assigned group or which assignee it has been transferred to. So for that purpose, what we have is we have something called as assignment log as a form available. So let me do a real quick inner join here. It's pretty help desk assignment log on. We need to add a join condition here so that we can get that proper data. So incident number from help desk and equals to incident number from assignment logs. Okay, now we have the join ready. Now we can pull the assignees from this assignment log, and I can see that so the specific 283 incident has been assigned twice, but I'm getting this information in different rows, right? So if I want to collect this information, so let's say there are only 3 incidents, and if I want to see the information in one row, so for that purpose, what we have something called as list aggregation function. So I can add that function. As you can see in the previous UI, we can only access those functions which are pretty simple or most widely used. But for the advanced functions, we have this UI where we can write down those entire function method or the signature, and we can define the formula. So let's say if I want to see this total assignees for a specific incident in one row, so that I can make some sense out of it, how it has been jumped from one person to another person. So in that case, let's say if I add this formula list ag. So list tag will require three parameters. First one is the field that you want to aggregate. So this is the field that I want to aggregate, or basically I want to separate it out. So this is my first field, and this is my first field, and then I can add a separator. It can be anything, it's just a character. So I just add the hyphen symbol there. And the third parameter is order by. So order by, I will just keep that order by symbol as the assignee. But since this is aggregation function, we need to aggregate it based on the other fields. Now we are already using this assignee in the list tag function, so I'll probably remove this because it will inflate the result set. So I'll remove this field from here, and I want to add the group by clause because we need to aggregate. So let me aggregate that. So group by, and then I need to add these three fields in the group by section like this. If I refresh now, I can see that these three incidents are came and all the results in one row because the list aggregation function has been added. And I can see that 283. So this is current assignee from HP to Hildes form. There are total 2 transfers, and before Hardison it was with Jennifer, and so on. So this is again 385. It has been transferred 4 times, and this was initially with France, then Freda, and then so on. So this is how we can achieve couple of advanced use cases here. It's not that it we can also add subqueries and union clauses and everything. All the complex queries can be added in the free and SQL mode. And just to cover one more point regarding this query builder, where we have this transform section available. This section is basically whatever data has been returned from the database. This is raw data. If you want to add any further calculation on top of it, we can do that. So I'll just quickly cover one simple thing. So right now I can see this incident number, assignee, and total transparent function 4. So if I want to just rename these things, right? So I can just want to just add some meaningful labels. So we have something called as organize field, where I can get to see all the details here. And let's say incident number, let it as it is. For assignee, we can say current assignee. And total transfer should be okay. And then for function 4, we can add past assignees. And once I refresh, you can see the labels are changed. So in the transform, as I said, there are a lot of transformations are available, which will process the data once it is retrieved back to the Grafana, and Grafana will process the data into the memory. So this is how we can create those reports, and we can use those two UI interface or query builders to build our reports. And as I said, right now we just saw the tabular one, but in the visualization section, as you can see, there are a bunch of visualizations available where we can add any visualization as per needed. So that's pretty much it from the demo side. Thank you very much. With this, I'll hand it over to Rahul. Over to you, Rahul. Thank you.
Hey, Abhijeet, thanks for that demo. One topic that will be of primary interest for customers using existing ITSM smart reporting is how these two solutions compare. Smart reporting based on OEM technology from Yellowfin was a typical BI tool that came with semantic view, drag and drop interface, among other things. BMC Helix dashboard can be seen as more of a dashboard or visualization platform, a platform in my view, it's a philosophically similar to AR or Innovation Suite that offers users flexibility to extend it. I mentioned earlier that BMC was quickly able to add some chart type that were more prominent for our domain or build scheduling capability ground up. So that's a advantage we get when we use Grafana's open source platform capabilities. While Smart Reporting had a simplified semantic view of ITSM metadata, Helix Dashboard offers a flexible query mechanism here. Now, there are differences in technology and user experience when switching from ITSM Smart Reporting to Helix Dashboard, and BMC is also looking at bridging functional gaps in this solution by enhancing Helix Dashboard. Another sort of question that we kind of that causes some confusion is reporting versus dashboarding. Uh, what we have seen in the recent time is lines between these report and dashboards have blurred, and most of the BI solutions can effectively do both reporting and dashboard in the same solution. Uh, where we see some differences, users when they typically refer to reporting, they are prominently referring to the ability to share report over email to different users in a different file format. So as I demoed earlier, even BMC Helix dashboard offer this quote unquote reporting capability where you can send those scheduled reports over the email to different users. We already saw that dashboard Helix dashboard can connect to multiple BMC solution, and it can build a single dashboard or single panel with the data coming from multiple solutions. From deployment standpoint as well, you don't need to deal with multiple instances of smart reporting deployment, right? The way we had it today, for one for ITSM, another for TrueSight, another for business workflow or chatbot. Here there is a pretty simplified deployment with Helix dashboard when compared to smart reporting. One of the distinct advantage with Helix dashboard is digital workplace had no reporting or dashboard option till date, except some pre-bundle report in a digital workplace application itself. With Helix dashboard, it's now capable to analyze digital workplace data and also include a handful sample dashboard for DWP. Also, while smart reporting was available for reporting of custom ER or innovation suite application, there were some limitation from the licensing standpoint. With Helix dashboard, users of custom ER or custom innovation suite of apps also get full access to Helix dashboard solution. And finally, big step forward when you decide to transition from smart reporting to dashboard will be you will be able to use your existing query as it exists in smart reporting. So you need to copy it over, and you should be getting those results of those query in the dashboard as well. And that's possible because we are using the same query layer in both of these technologies, and that's making that transition simpler for all your report and all your dashboard that you have built in the smart reporting. And one important announcement around smart reporting. We recently announced end of life plan for ITSM smart reporting. BMC plans to move away from smart reporting come April 2022. BMC introduced smart reporting as part of ITSM 9.0 release, 6 years back. And over the period of time, customers have used smart reporting for all their report and dashboard requirement. But at the same time, a few customers also experience issues and functional limitation, which impacted overall customer satisfaction for our ITSM and innovation suite based solutions. So make sure that customers have a great reporting and dashboard experience for their service management solution, and also to make sure that we have a single dashboarding and reporting module for all the BMC Helix solution across services and operations management. We have decided to end of life existing smart reporting for ITSM Innovation Suite or Innovation Suite based application by April 2022 with BMC Helix dashboard as an alternative solution. BMC plans to deliver a variety of document tools and services to help customers with a smooth transition to Helix dashboard, including a report migration tool. Again, although we will try to automate as much possible, this conversion or migration tool will still require some manual effort on the part of customers to take all their existing report and dashboard into Helix dashboard. Also, we are looking at enablement, technical enablement by way of documentation and videos and webinars around the deployment and use of Helix dashboard, as well as the transition from smart reporting to dashboard. And then there is going to be a services package, BMC services package for this report conversion as well. Now, if you have any question specifically about smart reporting end of life plan, do reach out to BMC account team, sales team, or if you're a SaaS customer, you can also reach out to those CVS specialists, and they can help you with the additional information here. Before we open the forum for Q&A, here are a couple of resources related to dashboard, Grafana, and that whole migration. So, you can also see a product documentation, our formal announcement on the smart reporting end of life, the webinar that we did a couple of months back on Helix dashboard for ITSM, and some other topics available from the documentation. These are the links to Grafana. Again, you can actually use this second link, the live demo, where you can start playing with a barebone Grafana application while you might be still waiting for your Helix dashboard deployment. And with that, I will open the forum for any live Q&A here.
Rahul, can you go ahead and come off the mute and say something so I can make sure that we can hear you?
Yeah, probably you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Is there any questions in the room?
So when you have the reports today in Smart Reporting, you can put in a link that'll go and open up the record that you have the details for. Are we able to do that in this as well?
Sorry, you might have to come a little close.
In Smart Reporting, in the details of the rows, you can create a link, say, for example, to the incident number. And if you click on that link within the report, it will open up that particular record. Are we able to do that with this as well?
Oh, yeah. So what you're referring to is a capability where you're looking at, let's say, a list of 10 incidents or 10 work order. You click one of those and then you launch Smart IT and look at that incident. Yeah, that's already available. So if you look at some of the out-of-the-box content, we have provided that cross-launch to the Smart IT interface, or I think somewhere we also have it for business workflow.
Great. Also, are we able to share a dashboard or report within an email link? So if we send out the report and they click on that link, it'll take them directly back into here to be able to see that report.
Right. So there, the prerequisite, and that's similar to smart reporting behavior, which is you can get a link, you can share it with others, and once they click that link, they will see the dashboard that you kind of shared with them. But we have to make sure that both users have access to dashboard application. So it can't be like, if you have external users, then that link won't work.
Great. Last question I have for you is, in the demo, you showed the join being built in SQL. In Smart Reporting, you would build the join in the view and then have that available for any reports you want to run against that as well. Are we able to do joins that can be then repeatedly used as a data, as a source for us?
Right. So the simple answer is no, you will not be able to reuse. And the reason for that is the concept of semantic layer or semantic views, which was kind of, you build it once and you use it multiple times. That concept is not available as part of the Helix dashboard capability. In Helix dashboard, what you're really kind of designing is actually looking at the backend forms that we have in the ITSM or other solutions there. So there is nothing like semantic view which is designed and maintained in a reporting landscape, right? So which was a case with smart reporting or previously say analytics of business objects, where they used to build their own view on top of the backend ITSM backend. That is being not there. Every time you are building something, you are going to be working with the core ITSM forms and fields. Now there is one, of course, you will have one way to still reuse some part of it is you go to that report where you build that join and you kind of copy that query. So that's still possible, but the concept of views is not available with Helix dashboards.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on. see if I can get it over here. See if it even works. Go ahead.
So a follow up to that question, is there any chance we're going to get some kind of data dictionary around at least like the major forms so that people who don't know exactly what those fields are called in the database will know how to build a report?
Yeah, you kind of fed it out, but I think the question was, do we get a data dictionary? So that's something that we are working on. The challenge with some kind of data dictionary with ITSM or even other apps is we have to make sure that is current every time, every release on release. But that's more internal thing that we are trying to work out. So hopefully, in another quarter or so, we do plan to provide some kind of way that will tell you that if you're looking for if you're trying to look at the priority of the incident, this is the place where you can find it, right? And then you can build a query based on that reference.
Okay, I have another question. Go ahead.
So a lot of people set up a replicated database to avoid impacting performance by running reports, and especially now where you're doing almost freehand SQL, I can see people doing some crazy stuff. So is that still a recommendation? Is still a capability to be able to report out up to 2 different database sources? It seems like it would be where you've got all that capability to do that, but just want to verify that.
Right. So I'll answer the replication part, but to a large degree, the query flexibility was also available in smart reporting, at least technically. So some of the users were able to write complex queries even with smart reporting. So it's to that extent, they are kind of similar here. Going back to the original question, can you run can you connect Helix dashboard with a replicated database? Yes. So because it's using the same AR JDBC and the AR infrastructure, you can very well connect to a replicated system, and which could be a read-only system, and you can report from that system, whereas your production systems are separated from that.
Thank you.
Rahul, this is Lenny. Quick question. In smart reporting, you had different permission settings that you had to grant people to run reports and create and administer it. Is that the same thing that's going to happen with dashboards too?
Yes and no. There are 3 roles, and Abhijeet can give me specifics here, but there are 3 out of the box roles that we get specifically in the dashboard application. Something like the read, edit, and admin. So you will still be able to do that. Now, smart reporting had some granular permission model where you could decide that I could build another 4th role, and I can make a combination of different permissions there, which is not the case with Helix dashboard. So for most of the users, you will have to choose between this read-only users or a user with create edit permission or admin role. And Abhijeet, I got those 3 roles right?
Yes, that is correct, Rahul. So, Lenny, we have these 3 out-of-the-box permissions with no option to modify or any, make any changes in that, row-based access control. And just a naming thing, Rahul. So it's a viewer, editor, and admin.
Okay, thanks for that.
Okay, well, in smart reporting, you guys have a new sync functionality that brings all the users with the fixed and floating license into smart reporting. Is that going to be the same as well, that anybody that has a fixed or floating or a bundled license will be brought into Grafana? Or
That's right. Yeah. And we will, from the license standpoint, yes, it will be fixed, floating, and bundle license, which will get onboarded in Helix dashboard by default. The sync mechanism is not going to be there because we will be doing all of those in real time. So the moment the users get added, those will get added into Helix dashboard as well. So that sync thing is history with Helix dashboard.
Right. Okay.
We've got one chat.
We had, what's that? One on the chat. Okay, what's on the chat? Can you read it?
I was going to do it through my mic, but I'll take it feedback. What is the oldest remedy or DWP version that can use new Helix dashboards, do we need to upgrade to a particular version to use the new dashboard tool?
Yeah, so that's that's going to be the most challenging part for customers. For customers to use Helix dashboard, if you're in SaaS, then 2105, the release that we had in May, since that release, we are supporting Helix dashboard for SaaS customers. For on-prem customers, they have to be on 21.3.02 release, and that release for on-prem is still not out there. It will be out in another week's time. So 21.3.02 is the on-prem release that they have to upgrade for using Helix dashboard.
My customer is told that if we upgrade to 2105 now, we get both reports until April 28th. Is that true?
That's right. I'm
not
assuming that customer is in SaaS, right?
Right, we are SaaS.
Yes, yeah. So you get Helix dashboard immediately after you upgrade to 2105, and you'll also have your smart reporting alongside. And I know that this date is kind of completing the transition to Helix dashboard, and also doing the upgrade by that time. And that upgrade, if you're not in SaaS, that upgrade also means that you have to get your containerized ITSM deployment on-prem. That is going to be a bit challenging for some of the customers. So there is another extension plan that we have. If customers are already actively using smart reporting, and if they cannot finish all the transition activities by April next year, then connect with your account management team or in the sales BMC sales team, and they will be able to offer extension for another 8 months. So instead of the April next year, you could use smart reporting till end of next calendar year. So that's December 2022. So it's just that you have to make sure that you talk to your account team and they register you for that extended smart reporting support.
Okay, we have time enough for one more question.
So I think you kind of mentioned this, but permissioning to the data itself, is that maintained through AR system permissions, or is that maintained elsewhere? How does that work?
Yeah. So this the permission model, or the how it gets data from ITSM is very similar, whether it was smart reporting or Helix dashboard. It's very similar. It uses the proprietary AR JDBC. So all of your ITSM permission model will be taken care. So for example, even if you are able to run a change management report and say you don't have access to change management in the application, then you'll not see any data here. So that JDBC, our proprietary AR JDBC will take care of showing only the data that you have access to.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Take some time to come. I hope we didn't keep you up too late today.
No issues, and hopefully we'll get to meet many of you in near soon. So thanks for your interest. We'll stay connected.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.